Okay, thank you so much. Welcome. Let's pray. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favors and blessings as your servants, whom you have been called, you have been pleased to call to leadership position in this republic. We seek your guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and a faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Okay, Sharon, kindly proceed with the administration of the oath.
I, Dr. Chafet Cheria, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
So thank you so much, Dr. and welcome to today's proceedings. For purposes of record, I wish that we take up the introduction. I am Rotich Moses, MCA Tendana Soget, the chair to this committee.
Thank you. Karibu, Bwana Cheruyot. My name is Irene Langat. I'm the vice chair to the committee.
Good morning. My name is Mas Jerry Lekonya, nominated MCA, representing minority, Kericho County.
Morning. My name is Kibet Peter, MCA Council Ward. Welcome.
Morning, Bwana Cheriot. I'm Korir Matthew, MCA Chaikwot, and member to this committee.
Welcome, Dr. Cheriot. My name is Eric B., MCA Kablela Third Ward, and a member to this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Dr. My name is Vincent Korir. I represent the people of Londiani Ward. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome, Dr. I'm Coach Albert, MCA Soliat, member of this committee. Thank you.
Within us too, are members of the Secretariat and the PR team and members of the press and legal. I wish them to give them a chance to introduce themselves.
Good morning, Dr. I'm Sharon Maybe, Deputy Clerk, Legislative Services.
Welcome, Dr. My name is Abraham Langat, Deputy Clerk, Administrative Services.
Good morning. I'm William Tola, Clerk of this committee.
Coach Patricia, Legal Counsel. Good morning. My name is Renis Chapnatich, Public Relations Officer.
Good morning. I'm Patrick Korir, PR Officer.
Good morning. I'm Testas Maritime, Sergeant at Arms.
Good morning, honorable members. Welcome to you. I'm Gilbert Ngetich, MCA Gishara, member to the committee.
Thank you so much for that part of introduction. Maybe before we proceed, I wish to give you a chance to also introduce yourselves to this committee.
Okay. Good morning, honorable members. My name is Dr. Chafet Cheriot. I'm the Chief Officer, Health Services, Kericho County. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maybe before also we proceed, I wish to ask the honorable members if there is anyone with a conflict of interest, starting from my right. Anyone?
Okay, thank you so much. I don't have in any way conflict of interest, and my friendship, if there is any, with Dr. Cheriot, will not affect the objectivity of this honorable committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. And I want to confirm to this committee that as a chair of health department and also being a friend to Cheriot, will not interfere with this procession. So I declare. Thank you.
Chair, I have no conflict of interest, and Cheriot being a friend does not mean that it will interfere with the report of this committee.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Chair. I am a member to Health Committee. I also hail from Bureti Sub-County, but the decisions which will be made in this committee that will not affect anything in this matter. Thank you.
Other members, silence means you want to proceed?
Chair, I have no conflict of interest.
Okay. Chair, Cheriot being one of my friends, but any decision cannot affect the friendship. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, honorable members. Dr. welcome. Maybe also I would wish to inform you that we are live on public mainstream. I don't know if you're comfortable or not comfortable being on the live coverage. You're comfortable? Okay, thank you so much. Welcome. And this Adhoc committee was formed secondary to events post the Londiani accident that happened on the 30th of June 2023. Daktari, we wish to give you a chance briefly to give us an account of that event from 30th all the way to the 4th, and also to date. Further aware that Daktari, we had the accident where our beloved members of our society lost their lives. We also had persons whose lives were maimed, they were injured. And thirdly, Daktari, there are some who are still in hospital, and then there are some who were treated and discharged. Kindly guide us on the same. If there's some patients who are still in hospital, how many? What is their status as per now? Well, welcome.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Thank you for this opportunity to invite me so that I can shed a light on the Londiani incident. I was attending a meeting in Kisumu. I remember that was 30th. We had just finished a meeting that was organized to talk about the universal health coverage. Now, on my way, when I was coming from Kisumu to Kericho, I received a call from Honorable Brenda Wilby, for CC Health, that there was a mass accident in Londiani, and I needed to organize for ambulance. And I remember I parked my car beside the road and started mobilizing the ambulances all the way from Kericho County and even beyond Kericho County. I made calls all the way from Kapkatet, Kenya Red Cross, and neighboring county Bomet and Nakuru counties. And the support was overwhelming.
I'm sure I also activated the emergency preparedness team in Kericho County, led by Florence Poke, who is in charge of the emergency preparedness. The response was enormous, and I'm sure everybody saw for themselves how we handled the disaster as a department. And I have no regrets whatsoever for what we did, because we managed to save as many lives as possible. And also, we managed to handle even the victims, I mean the relatives of the deceased. We managed to address all their concerns. Some of them were fainting. It was a very horrific scene for those who managed to reach Londiani. Apart from the patients we are dealing with, we are also dealing with the relatives who are fainting all over. And we had to treat all of them. And up to now, some of our staff have been placed on medication for depression-like illness up to now, because they have never recovered from the scene of the accident. And my request, honorable members, is even as we discuss all these issues around the Londiani, let us remember the healthcare workers who sacrificed, and up to now, some of them need serious counseling for them to live a normal life. There were body parts all over. It was a very bad scene, and most of my healthcare workers have not recovered so far. Now, owing to the directive from His Excellency the Governor, we're able to waive all the bills and all the mortuary charges for all the patients. We waived all the bodies, including postmortem fees in Londiani. We also waived all the bills in Kericho Referral Hospital. And nobody paid even a single cent as per the directive of His Excellency the Governor. Now, maybe if I can give you the statistics, as I was asked from the invitation letter, maybe very quickly. I don't know if it's in order, Chair. Okay, thank you. Now, most of the patients, about 77 of them, passed through Londiani. It was actually the first top-up facility. And some of them were pronounced dead on arrival, around 49. And 19 were referred to Kericho Referral Hospital with serious injuries. And 9 were referred to Nakuru Provincial General Hospital. The criteria for referral was not the severity of the injuries, but the criteria was the patient's own choice. We were asking them, do you want you to be taken to Nakuru? Others were preferring Nakuru, others were preferring Kericho. All the patients, three of them later on died to make the total fatalities to 52. And the total bills that we waived in Kericho Referral Hospital was 282,290. That is the total bills for Kericho Referral Hospital, and we waived all of them.
So, Dr. Before you proceed, you were confirming to us that we had 52 fatalities.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And I have the names. I can double the list of the fatalities.
Thank you so much.
Yes. The one which was waived in Kericho Referral Hospital for the patients is 282,219. Yeah? No, that is for the patients. Yeah, for Kericho Referral Hospital, the mortuary fee that was all waived was 38,500. Yes, that's the mortuary fee for Kericho Referral Hospital. Now, if we go to Londiani, that includes postmortem, mortuary plus postmortem, everything. Now, Londiani, it varies. Yeah, I'm talking about the total for all of them. But there is a specific for every patient. I think I submitted the report for every patient. Now, for Londiani, because we do not have the, we did not waive for outpatient because there were too many. We were locally overwhelmed for outpatient. Now, for the bodies, we waived 800 850. 850,850. I think, I hope I'm clear up there. So we also waived all the mortuary charges for Londiani. No, this is, for Londiani is purely bodies. Yes, there was no patients. The patients who, I will say something about the patients who are treated in Londiani. You know, all the patients.
Chairman, to inquire, so this 850,000 is for the bodies?
The bodies, including postmortem.
Including
mortuary
postmortem, thank you.
Yeah. Now, a total of both bodies and the bodies and the patients who passed through Londiani is 77. 77. Of course, most of them were pronounced dead on arrival and taken to the mortuary. But the others were referred to Kericho and Nakuru. But all of them passed through Londiani.
Daktari, you're talking of all the casualties because all the victims were ferried to Londiani first, then referral was filtered from Londiani.
Precisely.
There is no one who directly referred to from the scene to Kericho Referral Hospital.
No, no.
So all the victims first they landed at Londiani.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Now, in Londiani, all the 77 were treated. Both the bodies, they were confirmed dead and certified, and the patients were given first aid before they were referred. And the criteria for referral was not how severe the illness is, but it was the patient's choice. Now, the 19 who came to Kericho referral
to inquire, what of a patient who could not make a decision at that time because the accident intensity could vary?
The doctors decided. Yeah. Because actually for management of these patients, Kericho Referral Hospital and Nakuru have the same capacity. We are able to manage fractures just like Nakuru. There is no difference. We have an ICU, Nakuru have an ICU. Now, Londiani was a very terrific scene. We had almost 100 both medics and paramedics who were offering treatment to the patients first aid. In fact, for those who were actually on the site, even the ambulances were being escorted by almost 50 border borders. It was so chaotic. And when they reached there, all the border borders were removing, wearing gloves and seeing where to assist, including the Red Cross. It was terrific, and you could not actually account for anything. The same thing with Kericho. After we activated the rapid response team, over almost 100 healthcare workers reported to casualty even before the patients came. All those staff who live in the staff quarters were asked to come and rescue, including even outsiders. Even those who are non-medics, they were assisting to carry the patients. And I can assure you, the kind of care emergency care, you know, members, every Kenyan has a right to emergency care. And we did it excellent. And I want to thank my healthcare workers for doing that. And all those who assisted. In fact, it was a record. All the patients who needed surgery were operated by morning. We even called surgeons from Kapkatet and all facilities to come to Kericho. And they were able to operate all the patients by morning. All the patients had been done. They said the initial surgery is usually a surgical toilet to remove foreign bodies and everything and clean the wounds before you decide what next. So all of them received treatment, including surgical treatment. Those who required suturing and everything was done in the minor theater in casualty. After all the patients were stabilized, now we started opening their files to register them. Those who were going home were discharged home. Those who were going to the ward were admitted to the ward. And that's why I come to the cost that we use to manage emergency treatment. both in Londiani and Kericho. Yes.
Before you come there, after 77 patients and bodies which passed through, you actually mentioned 19 and you didn't give clarification. There was 19 what?
19 patients who are referred to Kericho Referral Hospital, and they were received at Kericho Referral Hospital.
Out of 19, how many went to Nakuru?
No.
Okay.
The one for Nakuru were already, 9 went to Nakuru, 19 came to Kericho. Okay. So total of 28. Okay. Yeah. Now, I wanted to say something about the emergency care. Sorry.
I think we had 77 well-documented casualties in Londiani, 49 bodies, and 19 transferred to Kericho Referral Hospital. And then we had 9 transferred to PGH. And then also, I think you will have that 3 to Molo. Some was taken to Molo. That is from the documentation from Londiani. So totally 12 to Nakuru. Yes.
So I want to say something about the Molo. I actually got to hear about those who went to Molo. I think they were self-referrals. They did not pass through Londiani. But I tried to follow up, and we could not trace them. Because we were informed by Kenya Red Cross that there are some who went to Molo, but we tried to trace, we could not trace. We asked them, they were saying they did not receive. That's why I have not included here, because I'm not sure. Now, I wanted to say something about the emergency care that we gave. It was top-notch, and we incurred a lot of cost in giving emergency care. And most of the cost was going to non-pharmaceutical, like gloves, because we were trying to arrest the bleeding. And therefore, the bills that we waived was excluding the cost of the emergency care before the patient. Our bills are always, all of them are digitalized. We don't have manual bills. It's a system that accrued the bills.
Chair, I would like to know something. You said 19 came here. Maybe you can distinguish in the 19 how many were critically and how many were released the same day. Because you are mentioning that there were some who were under critical conditions and there were some who were under first aid. Maybe you can categorize how many were critically injured and how many were just released the same day. Again, in Londiani, during that day, how many were critically injured, classified in Londiani that critically injured in total before referring each?
Thank you very much. Now, in Kericho, we treated all of them in casualty. We have a theater in casualty. Most of them underwent minor operations. And most of them were discharged the following morning. They stayed in casualty the whole night and discharged the following morning, except only 5. 5 were the ones who were admitted. No, is it 5? No. It's actually 4 plus 3. That is 7. 7 are the ones who were admitted. So in Londiani, unfortunately, because the scene was so bad, we could not do actual assessment of the patient to determine who is critical, who is not. We were doing more of triaging the patient. To see who is critical, you go to Kericho. You are critical because Londiani do not have capacity. They don't even have a surgeon. So it was a general doctor who was only triaging and referring some to Nakuru, referring some to Kericho. So the real assessment was done at the main facility by the surgeons. Yeah. Now, I was talking about the cost that we incurred, and I think that's my last remark. To offer emergency treatment in Kericho Referral Hospital, we incurred, I think I want to give the breakdown. We incurred a cost of 1.841 million. That is the cost of the gloves. The list is there for all the items that were incurred, cotton wool and everything. Now, in Londiani,
Before the chairman, I'm interested. I want to know that cost. So, chairman, with all due respect, I want to request that we do our deliberations and questioning from that point. And I'll request that maybe, Daktari, you can forward that list that you have to us so that we can start the interrogation. My first question to you, Daktari, is that you are saying the cost of emergency was 1.8 million.
Yes.
1.841 million in Kericho Referral Hospital. So I'll ask you a very simple question. Do you mean the 19 patients that came to Kericho District Hospital? 2 of them who went to the theater, and later on, unfortunately, they passed on. 5 who are admitted, of which up to today, 2 have been discharged, and then 3 are still there. And then the 12 who are dealt with as the casualty, and then left the place, costed you 1.8 million.
Yes. I'll explain.
What is now the cost? What was the reason now of giving us a cost of 96,000? 96,000 for what is the reason now of giving us 96,000 for 12 patients who are dealt with as the casualty, and then they left? And then 198 they are still in hospital today. And then 200 and something that their bill was waived. So what is why such a big discrepancy? Doctor, I need to know the details, so you can forward those things so that we can start looking at it in details. Why 96? And here you are saying it's 1.8 million.
Thank you very much, Daktari. First of all, you gave a clear history of how the process was. I want to also say that I was also in the scene of the accident, and I know all of us were affected. More so, members of the public with Bosnia are not used to such scenarios. I do sympathize with the medical personnel, but I do believe they also have training and also counseling when such scenarios happen, so that they can be able to handle. But now, Daktari, this issue gave us a lot of opening, an eye-opener, so that we can be able to look at so many things that maybe before we might not have questioned. But now, these are a venue where we have to question. You said there was a waiver of 200,000. 282,000. Now, during this process, you received support from KEMSA, worth 1.8 million. Is it the same amount of money you are talking about, 1.8 million? And again, I want you to break down the cost of all this process, from Londiani to referral hospital. Don't separate, please. Because in Londiani, with those people who are maybe under emergency, they only spend some few hours in Londiani. Then they were referred here. So can you give us a breakdown of the cost from Londiani all the way to referral hospital here? Thank you.
Okay, Chair, Daktari, are you aware that on 17 there's a letter that is meant to Londiani victims, Londiani accident victim bills of total 1.8, 80, 336. I think that you have confirmed that is the cost in your walitumia. But in our documents here, Daktari, all the bills were shared to the all victims. When you start from number 1, it is now different from what you are giving us here. You are saying that is the total cost for the emergency, But here we have the total bill for each and every victim who went through the casualty. Like number 1, we have Daniel Mwangatia, Mwangi Kitata, of 172,000. So being the head of the department, I think you are chief officer, you are the AIE holder to the department. One Davis, sir, has given us the detailed bill for each and every victim. Now you are confirming that the total cost of the emergency is 1.8. In that 1.8, your department has went ahead and give us the detail for each and every patient, including the patient number and the receipt. So kindly confirm to this committee, because one, we want to know whether that 292,000 was waived and 1.8 million is what you need to be paid from the kit.
Additionally,
Chairman.
Dr. Additionally, we want to quote systematically, whereby where you are right now is the referral hospital issue and the bills. So, since you are the chief officer in charge of the department, put us, confirm to us whether all these records, expenses are real. Because if you want to tell us, I've seen through the breakdown, the cost of gloves and the cost of medication. Give us a clarity, Dr. because it's seemingly there are some overrated charges which was increased, because ideally you may not be able to confirm whether these gloves used was stolen or was applied. So put us clarity so that we may be aware on the usage. Because if you want to tell us 15,000 gloves were used, make us, inform us candidly so that we can understand how it was used before you come to the total cost of expenses. But through the chair, let the Dr. clarify from Kericho Referral Hospital, 19 patients who are received before we go to Londiani. Let us go systematically so that we can understand the way Honorable Albert has said. Make us understand, because if we see, and also for the list, if we see 96 casualty, 96,000 were used during that day, and also we have another cost. Maybe, if according to my understanding, probably this might be charges which was put just by other people. They are not the real charges for the casualty. So can you take us slowly so that we can understand? Then we ask questions as we continue through the chair.
So kindly, Dr. I wish that you take one question from Honorable Gilbert, then we give you now sufficient time to respond.
Thank you, Chairman. Chairman, the Daktari, that is the CEO, took us smoothly. That we had a total bill for the patient, which is 282, 219. For the mock, 38,500, and those 12, 96,000. Now, I'm somehow surprised when I find a huge bill of 1.8 million to illustrate another expense. I don't know whether it's accumulative of the same, because I have a living example here that comes from Kericho Referral Hospital, from a patient called David Mwangi Kitata, which has a bill as by 3rd August 2023, a bill of 68,960. In minutes, on 17 July, the same patient, that is Daniel Mwangi Kitata, do have a bill of 172,362. I don't know what a contradiction, CEO, because you will tell me some additional charges made to the bill to Kitata for it to make a summation of 172 instead of the actual bill of 68,960. Thank you.
That I'd like us to get. One, for us to get clarity. Because the reason why I was saying expenses came twice.
Honorable,
for example, no,
kindly.
Chair, I want to clarify something. That, for example, Daniel Mwangi Kitata came from Londiani. All of them, the whole list, for example, came from Londiani. Now, before I ask even for Londiani, maybe clarify for referral only. For example, Daniel Mwangi Kitata was admitted in the ward, and he spent 172,000. Clarify also, Susan Wambua Miria spent 132,000 and was discharged. Now, maybe give us that breakdown for Kericho only referral hospital as per the patient, either if they were admitted and if they were discharged.
Maybe for purposes of continuity, in a friendly and an organized manner, I seek to direct that we give Daktari a chance to respond, and maybe on further addition to what Mheshimiwa Korir is asking Daktari, Mheshimiwa Korir is saying a patient who have been treated with a tune of 132,000. 132 is a huge bill. And then he is at home. I don't know how the number of days that he spent in hospital. Maybe you will give us a clarity on the same. So kindly, we give you this chance, Daktari, to respond. And in case you require some time to organize your documents well, we can give you some time to do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, the Chair.
Okay, before then, one last one from Honorable Albert.
Thank you.
Request that,
maybe the first thing that I want Daktari to confirm is that I want you to confirm to this committee if those documents that you brought to us on 4th is the correct document from Kericho Referral Hospital. Are you able to confirm, Daktari? Just yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. The second one that I want you to confirm, there is also a document that was sent to this assembly and signed by Davis Sang, and as a list of bill, and it emanated from Kericho Referral Hospital. Are you able to confirm also that one? No. You can't confirm. Thank you. So maybe to Chairman, what Korir said about Susan Wambui Maria, from the documents that was sent to us, Susan Wambui Maria was given a bill of 132,200. And from the document that Dr. Cheriot gave us last week, from the list of those ones who are dealt with at the casualty and released, Miriam is among them. Wambui Miriam is among them. And he was charged a fee of 2.2, yani 2,200 shillings. And 200. And 200 days. That is why I want to confirm. I want Dr. to confirm. Why such a big discrepancy? Somebody that who just came, treated, and go home. And here you are saying you have also a breakdown of 1.8 million. So, Dr. with all due respect, maybe can take us through what you are saying. Thank you.
Thank you very much, through the Chair. I think all the 4 questions are resonating on one issue. So allow me to start with the KEMSA issue. I clarify. Then now we go to the main thing, because I've seen all the members, they're asking questions resonating on the 2 reports, which are different. So I think KEMSA issue is very simple. I think the documents that are handed over on 4th, I actually printed out KEMSA supplies as they are. It is not a report that was done. It was just printed out, the supplies that came. And it is there. Most of them were trucks. Most of them were trucks that was applied to us. And I think it is there for everybody to peruse through. Yeah. And we received trucks worth 1.8 million. Yeah. There were very few non-farms. Very few. It was just a donation. Most of them we did not need for accident. Most of them were just drugs, antibiotics, which, you know, every antibiotic has its own use. But most of those antibiotics were not used for the purpose of accident victims, but they were used by doctors to treat other conditions. But in any case, we received the drugs, because it was a donation.
Chair.
It was excluding the
Chair.
imbalance.
You see, you are under oath, and you have to tell us the truth on everything. When we were there, CS for Health Nakuminja promised that they are going to donate supplies to help for accident. Kindly, let's be clear on this, because even the documents that are there resonate very well with the request that was made from Londiani. So, CEO, kindly, let's be honest. In Nakuru, they were given the same donation. And the same donation was utilized for the patients. And they were able to account that they were given 200,000 worth of donations. I hope you are getting what I'm saying. Because you are under oath, we would like to get the truth. Let us not give stories. 200,000 was given out to Nakuru County from Ministry of Health, and they were able to utilize it for the patients. Kindly explain to us, was it utilized for the same purpose that was donated for?
Okay, Dr. I want us to be a bit systematic so that we, Dr. Don't miss on questions that we have asked. I wish that you are given a chance to respond to all the questions you have before any other new questions and clarifications come. So I want to ask our honorable members that going forward, we give Dr. a chance to appropriately respond to all what he has until he gives us the second pathway. If you have a clarity along the way that you would want to seek, it is prudent that you note, then you re-ask the question after Dr. has made his last comment on the last questions he has. Kindly. Thank you so much. Dr. Proceed.
Thank you very much. Wanted to we received a donation of 1.8 million, and I think I gave out a copy of the list of the donations. If you can go through the list, bandages. I want one by one, and I'm happy most of the members are medical experts here. Is bandage, do you require bandage for an accident victim? Bandage, yes. Yes, bandage. Of course you require if there is a wound. Now, gloves, surgical gloves, we require. And then cannulas, the one for giving IV medication, so you require. And then surgical plates you require, and then a suture. Do you think those things are adequate? The rest are drugs. Drugs. All of them are drugs. Almost 90% are drugs. And if you look at the list that we gave you, remember the list of the consumables that I gave out. The non-farms alone, I want to take you systematically so that you understand. In the list that I gave out for the, when I was trying to account for the 1.8 million, 1.2 something. Where is it? Yeah. 1.2. Where is the document? I don't know where. You have seen the document, huh? For Kericho Referral Hospital. Oh yeah. Sorry. If you look at 1.209 were non-pharmaceuticals. And this is what we need in an accident situation. To arrest bleeding. Non-pharmaceuticals include gloves. Non-pharmaceuticals include gloves, bandages, IV, anything which you cannot swallow. And that is what we need in accident. And from the report, we used 1.2. if you look at the KEMSA order, most of them were trucks, they were not non-farms. And remember also, the KEMSA order came almost 2 days after the accident. So we had already used this one. So for the trucks, most of them we are still even using for other patients, but we did not require the trucks. The one we require mostly is the non-farms. Eh? You see, for the case of an accident, almost 10 patients, 10 doctors or healthcare workers and even paramedics are wearing gloves for one person. From the person who is removing the patient from the car, the ambulance, the one who is pushing, all of them are wearing gloves. You can imagine how much gloves we'll use in an accident scene. I think those who went to Londiani will bear me witness. Those who are in Kericho casualty, there are almost 50 healthcare workers plus paramedics. All of them were on gloves, and most of them were double gloving. You see, so the KEMSA trucks we appreciate, but most of them were trucks that will assist other patients. And remember, the KEMSA order came after we are done with the emergency. So this one will only assist other patients. So it does not take away the cost that we use to attend to emergency. And I was very categorical because the Constitution of Kenya is very clear on emergency care. The emergency care, everybody has a right to emergency care. And you cannot deny anybody. That's why we separated the emergency from the real bill. Sorry.
Daktari, the document we have indicating the consumables used for Londiani accident victims, weird is not signed by yourself or anyone from the stores or anyone from the hospital. How authentic is this document? How admissible is it to this committee for purposes of cross-examination and clarity? It is just a plain paper, as you can confirm for yourself, with no ownership, with no
anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that was also my question, Chairman. I know you had given instructions on how we will be engaging Daktari. And maybe for the purpose of records, Chairman, if you will allow me, I first introduce myself because I came in late. I'm Philip Rono, MC representing Commission, and a member of this committee. And for that purpose, Chairman, it's good because you've noted that the document is as plain as it is. So the first question I wanted to pose, maybe before you had given the directions, was the same. That is this document, are we going to charge anybody by this document? You see, we had some informations that there are these documents that are being just generated in the cyber. So we wanted also to own this one first. If we will own this one, Chairman, I think the first steps is let the Daktari append his signature, and if it's possible, he moved into these chambers with a rubber stamp chair. I think he can do the same. That is the first one. And the second one, I think maybe for the purpose of you also, maybe for your own consumption, maybe you'll see whether to answer the same or not. The first one you've said, you receive this donation from KEMSA. You see, the first ones, we were told here, and I know this committee can bear as witness that you didn't receive anything from KEMSA. After some times is when we got the report that you've received some medicine from KEMSA, but the other ones were not official because it was just communications from phones. So we cannot use the same against anyone. We went to Nakuru, just the same way Vincent has just said. And those people was so much transparent and so much welcoming to this. Well, they welcome this committee nicely. And like our county government of Kericho, both our hospitals, Kericho County Referral and the other one. But I must thank you for the purpose of records, because even the time we went to Kericho County Referral Hospital in Londiani, they denied us a lot of information, which you later brought to the committee. So I saw a very good man in you. Now, Daktari, can you kindly own for us first this document so that we will use, maybe if you can own what you have,
okay,
or if you can say before this record that this document is authentic, number one. And then number two, if it is authentic, you've said we received medicines. What we received from KEMSA was basically consumables, ile inapelekwa ndani ya mwili. Na lakini mingi ya yale mulikuwa mnayahitaji ni ile non-consumables. Now, and you say these medicines that were donated by KEMSA is still being used by other patients. And I know if these ones were still used by if these ones are used by the same patients, we came to the hospital, referral hospital, and there is a accident victim that is still there. That has both, I don't know whether it had been asked by one of our colleagues here, but I'm sorry if I'll repeat. There is a patient who has bought medicines close to around 50 or 60,000. And you say most of these medicines that were dispersed to you is actually consumables. I'm not a doctor by profession. Maybe you will also bear with me. But here is a scenario. Umepewa, you've been given a donation of almost 1.8. That is consumables. But you wanted non-consumables. Why don't you convert? Why didn't you convert the little that we had? Maybe now to purchase for this one, because the patients that are using now these KEMSA trucks that were for donation, you are still billing them. So instead, where you could get the other ones, because I believe if this one was not donated, you could have gone into the shelves and get medicine for those people. Why didn't you convert within yourselves now that I have received 1.8 worth of consumables, but the other ones, you need, majority of what you need is non-consumables. Now umepata ya 1.8. So unge-change to a local arrangement from the hospital. Na maybe utueleze kwa nini hao watu wanaendelea kununua madawa mingi yet Nakuru kule. I believe KEMSA hawaku supply to. Maybe they got a request from you, because why is it that ya Nakuru ilienda promptly na ikasaidia patients 100%? Tumefika pale, tumeuliza maswali mingi. We are now talking from the point of information that we got from the Nakuru patients and from the Nakuru medical superintendent, that they received donation from KEMSA, and that one has assisted them a lot. That's why the 9 patients that went to Nakuru, unfortunately one died. The 8 of them has been attended. The total bill came to 366,820 for all those time. And there is still only 1 patient. But when it comes to our area, despite the fact we got very big donation from KEMSA, the kind of bills that we are still experiencing is actually, I can say, the very much skyrocketed bills. You cannot even comprehend. Even the kind of documents you give vis-a-vis what was given to the committee on 17th. It's a world of difference. You are giving us a bill that is, I don't know how much. The other one is way too far. Maybe those clarifications is what I want, Daktari. Thank you. And maybe something that you are not also sure, because you are under oath. We don't want you to charge you based on what you are not sure. Kindly, as said by Honorable, I think it was Honorable Vincent, just stick to what you are very sure. Because I know we conducted you very late after your doctors there failed even to assist us after moving the whole day. It is you who gave us these information later on a different date. So I kindly request also that whatever you are not sure, though you are supposed to be sure because you are the boss, But whatever you are not sure, kindly let us not lie to ourselves because we have a lot of information here. Thank you.
Chair,
Through the chair.
For better word and clarity, Chair.
Now.
Please,
Now.
Chair, give me
Now.
a chance. There's
Now.
something very important I want to ask.
I think I need to stand. Since we started this session, we have not given Daktari appropriate platform to express himself. Kindly, please, let's give Daktari a chance to respond. If we put back and forth questions before he responds, we have asked another question. I think we will not proceed and it will take a lot of time. Daktari, proceed.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'll start by the issue, Honorable. Now, I am not, as the chief officer, I am not the AIE holder. I think somebody mentioned. The AIE holder of a facility is the medical superintendent. And I have documents. I think there was an attached document to leave, a forwarding letter from the medical superintendent. That is here with me. Yes. So it was just a leave that was attached to, plus even the minutes of the hospital management team are here. That is hidden on this. So they are all here. And they were forwarded by the medical superintendent, being the chairman of the hospital management team. So one thing I want to clarify is that health is a very big department. As the chief officer, I cannot go and micromanage every facility. In health, and I think, Honorable, this House passed a health act last year that actually made almost all facilities, the 7 hospitals, to be independent. So for me, I only receive reports from the medical superintendents. And when they are writing any request, they don't have to write through me. They write to CC direct because they are AI holders. And the CC will instruct me what to do. So that all of them are there, plus the minutes of the hospital management team. Now, thank you very much.
But this one, Doctor, is from Londiani. We want from Kericho Referral Hospital.
It is there.
Kindly share with us.
I think I gave out here on
because
4th.
what you are sharing,
Huh?
Daktari,
Yes.
Daktari,
Yeah.
what you are sharing here with us is Londiani, of which we have it because at some point we were in Londiani and we were given the same document. Kindly share with us the same from Kericho Referral Hospital, signed by the Medsup, kindly, and copy to you if it is possible, because this one was from Dr. Collins Kipkoech, the medical superintendent Londiani Hospital, through Dr. Cheruyot Chavet, Chief Officer Health Service, Kericho County Government, to the Brenda, to Honorable Brenda B, TCM. And if we can get the same document from Referral Hospital, because as we go forward, Daktari, we will let you know even the information that you don't have in your department as we continue.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. I think for referral hospital, I don't have it here, but I believe it can be traced. Huh? Yeah. Yeah. I'll explain. I think it has been asked, and it's only that I have not been given a chance to respond. Yes. So thank you, Chair, for your protection. Let me now start responding to all the questions. Yeah. So I think for Londiani issue is settled, and I wanted to make it very clear that for me as the chief officer, I am not the AIE holder. The AIE holder of facility is the medical superintendent who does the day-to-day running of the facility. And they are the ones even who request for any funding for the facility. It's not me. Yes, but my role, based on the act that was passed last year, is mainly to receive the reports from the facilities. But in terms of requesting for funds, they request directly. Sometimes they even request directly to finance because they are funded directly from finance to the facility. Every facility has an account which I don't control. I only receive reports of the amount that they receive. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm going there. And then before I go to the 1.8, there's somebody who asked, I don't remember, who asked a question about the drugs. Somebody is buying drugs. And yet the KEMSA brought the drugs. Every patient is different. It is not standard that if you have a fracture, two people, they use the same medication. Like the one patient who was buying the drugs, he refused to respond to the medication. How come the others are not buying? We have enough medication. But it is not possible from our budgets to have all the drugs under the sun, because our budgets are not enough. Referral hospital, for it to have drugs throughout, we require over 500 million alone for it to run smoothly. But because the budget is constrained, we are forced to prioritize which drugs to buy and which one not to buy. And the Ministry of Health have done their part by giving us guidelines on essential drug list that is updated every year. And most of the drugs we buy are those drugs that are in the essential drug list. The drug that that patient was using is for stubborn bone infections. I'm careful not to reveal the diagnosis of the patient because it's not ethical, but she refused to respond to the drugs we have, and the drug that she was using is a very expensive drug for stubborn infections, and we don't usually stock that drug. So for drugs that we don't have, we cannot waive what we don't have. And to be sincere, there is no hospital in Kenya who can stock all the drugs until there is nobody who is buying a drug from outside. We try to stock as many drugs as possible. So it is not wrong, entirely wrong, for a patient to buy a drug, because we cannot give a wrong drug just because we have. We want to give the patient the best drug that she can respond to. And I want to assure you that the patient is doing very well. In fact, I think by now this week, the patient is ready for implant. The infection has cleared. Now,
our concern here, Dr. Maybe we are not reading from the same page. We fundraise, people fundraise, including those Mama Mboga and Boda people fundraise for the sake of these people, because they knew the kind of business they were doing, maybe in the junction there. Kuuza njugu, kuuza mboga, kuchoma mahindi. Now, when we expose the same patient to buy drugs close to 60,000, she has not even benefited from the money that was supposed to be dispersed. With all respect and with humility, don't you see that we are frustrating? I believe maybe the same patient could have even responded, but because of this kind of stress and the nature of their homes, to be very sincere, Daktari, I don't know. I have said I am not a doctor, but with the humility now, the humane heart, hii ni watu walifunjika huku, hawana chochote, walikuwa wameenda kuchoma mahindi, wameletwa hospitali, we fundraise for them, na analia. Ukifika hapo district, anaomba pesa nyumbani, anunue madawa. Na mnatuambia hapa ati madawa yenye iko kwa shelves sio ile patient anataka kutumia. And you see this patient is special category. Yani hospitali yetu yote ya Kericho, hata kama hatu stock, even if we are not stocking all those medicines, could we not find a place in our heart and see a way of even assisting this patient as an hospital to buy for those drugs? To be very sincere, Chairman, maybe I'm overreacting, but I just feel I don't think we are in the right place, personally.
Thank you. Maybe for a rejoinder from Honorable Korir, then you proceed.
Chair, a rejoinder on that, because we need to be very clear. Also on our roles, you said you receive reports, but you also act on reports. You have explained to us that the patient that is still in the hospital did not respond to drugs. But when I look here, on 3rd August 2023, we still have 3 patients who are still awaiting implants. Meaning, they need to be attended so fast because if they are not given these implants, the patient will suffer more. Now, it is 3rd of August. Yes, you have given a reason that maybe one might not have responded to drugs. What about the others? The 3 of them. And again, even when we talk about the medicine from KEMSA, which I am still questioning, I believe there is a communication that you do with KEMSA on what you require as priority. Because they will just push drugs on you, even if it was for donation. There must have been communication. Kindly, the money that you said was waived, you gave us very confidently that we waived 224,000. If you waived, actually, if that word waive is real, why are we still having patients who need urgent attention? And it's only 198,000. While you are saying you have spent 1.8 million. Where have you spent the 1.8 million, yet there are other people who are not to be attended to? Actually, let's be sincere.
We have a patient in Kericho Referral Hospital who's still surviving from her pocket. That is in Ward 7. But you know, we had a fundraising in Londiani. Why is it that the committee that was conducting this disbursement, they need to just to hand over the money to the patient so that she can survive from that donation from the kitty?
Thank you, Chair. Daktari, do you know there's a patient who was discharged in Ward 6, a male, discharged in Ward 6, and he was supposed to be done internal fixation, and he was discharged home without being done internal fixation. That person was stable, he had no other infections, but he was just lying in the bed, waiting for internal fixation, which was never there.
Thank you, Chair. Kindly allow me to
Daktari,
respond.
we want to give you a chance to respond, and then we will guide the meeting on the next course of question answer, so that we don't take a lot of time. So, Daktari, proceed.
Thank you very much. Let me clarify for avoidance of doubt that we still have 3 patients here. 2 of them might be ready for implants this week. That's from, according to the surgeon. 2 of them might be ready for implants this week, but 1 of them might wait a little bit longer. For your information, you cannot put an implant on a patient who still has infections. And what we have been doing basically was to manage infections until they are ready for implants. And that's why the patient you are talking about who was buying drugs used our drugs, but she was not responding. And the doctor had to prescribe a very unique drug. And the doctor was telling me by end of this week, she's optimistic that she might be ready for implant. They are not yet ready for implant. So the reason why they have not gotten the implant is because it's not because we don't have doctors or because of implants. Even though we have requested for implants, remember, procurement process started immediately because we don't want to inconvenience the patients even as we request for the funds. And I want to actually be categorical that I want to distance myself from the funds that were raised in the fundraising. I'm talking about funds from I don't know where.
I wish you come
because
again.
I've never been part of the committee. I don't know how much was raised. And this is not the first time we have been requesting for funds from the county. Let me tell you, I was the medical superintendent of Kericho Referral Hospital. The last time we received funds for emergency care was during the Fortenan. You remember the Fortenan accident? As late as June, usually the medical superintendents request for reimbursement of waivers from the CEC. And we actually reimbursed Kapkatet and Kericho in June, 2 months ago. We have we usually reimburse the waivers. But health, it is the discretion of the CEC now, either to mark to the CEO to reimburse to the facility. Usually we do it through commodities equivalent to that amount. Or based on his or her discretion, the CEC can decide to look for funds elsewhere. And at that point, I cannot comment beyond there. Because the CEC can decide to request for funds anywhere. And I don't know whether she requested for funds from the kitty. I don't know whether she requested for funds from emergency kitty. I don't know. So please, spare me. I'm only talking about what is happening in the hospital. Nothing beyond the funds. But one thing I know, the last accident that happened in Fortenan, we got reimbursement from the emergency kitty. Yeah. So please, don't ask me any question about the committee. I'm not a member and I've never sat in the committee.
Thank you. Thank
ask
you so
me
much,
about what is happening in the
thank you.
facility.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Now, there was a patient who was discharged on Tuesday. The patient was, up to last week, we were having 4 patients. One of them, for those who understand a bone, even in young children, sometimes it breaks and then they heal on their own. Is it true or false? Young children, they heal within, in fact, if you delay to fix the fracture, it will heal on its own within 2 weeks. Now, the patient was supposed to get an implant initially, but from the assessment of the surgeon, and even you can go and interview the patient. In fact, it's the patient who said, "Why do you want to put the implant? I'm okay." And he was moving. And the doctor assessed and discharged him home. So he's not supposed to get an implant according to the surgeon. Yes.
Do you have notes from the surgeon?
I can get.
Yes,
in case, yeah.
Yes.
The surgeon, that's what the information I got from the surgeon, that he doesn't require an implant again. He has been discharged. Maybe he'll only come for review to monitor how he's healing. So it's not that he was discharged because he lacked implants. As you speak, even as we are requesting for funds, because you remember, we do not have a budget for implants. But what we did was actually to procure the implants, and I can assure you, go to referral hospital right now. The implants are there. I think we are only waiting for the screws, but we have the implants already.
Daktari.
Yes.
Daktari, we went there and we were told the patient left because there were no equipments. And we were told by the doctor, the maid super, I think so. We were told he's to come back again.
Okay.
And
here
you are saying he got healed. And we know he's not a young person. He's an older man.
That is the information I got from the surgeon.
Are you contradicting the medical superintendent, CEO?
I think the right person is not the medical superintendent, but the surgeon. And I called the surgeon yesterday, and that is the information he gave me. He said that patient does not require an implant again. He's healed.
Thank you.
Now, tell the chair, allow me to respond to the other questions. I have not responded.
Daktari, as you finish up on what Honorable Maritim had asked you, the same patient on our record, that is from the account service dated 17th of July. We would not wish to take you within the circus of the fund drive. You are not a member of the Harambe. You are not party to it. But the reports that have been generated by your accountant, hospital accountant, that the same patient we are discussing today had a bill of 172,000 on 17th of July, while the records that was on 3rd of August, the records we were given for purposes of accounting 1.880336, 1.8,880,336. The same patient was billed 172,362. The amount on record was to be waived is 68,000. What is your comment on that? That is one patient, Daniel Mwangi Kitata. That the same patient that went home without implants, as internal fixations, as you put it.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for your protection, Chair, so that I can clarify. Now, I believe this house is cognizant of I want to quote one law. And the law is from the Public Service Ethics Act on values and principles. Chapter 9 on accountability. I'll not quote what it is. But I want to say, there was a document, yes. I got to learn about the document that was circulating from the social media about the bills, the one you are talking about, 1.8 million. I learned it from the social media. And being the chief officer, I actually took it upon myself to inquire from the medical superintendent what is happening about the document. And I have a detailed report. Although I don't have powers to actually comment on the document because I'm not the author, neither did it emanate from my office, but I have inquired, I've taken it upon myself to inquire about the document. And when I inquired,
Daktari, be clear first. Through the chair, be clear first, Daktari. The document emanated from your office because you are the CEO Health Services in Kericho County, and document emanated from Kericho District Hospital, which is under your docket. If it was emanating from Agriculture Department, we could not have asked that document. Be clear, Daktari. It is emanating from your office, but different person signing on.
okay, thank you. Let me clarify on that. I think I said hospitals are independent. They don't have to pass through my office. They write directly to finance. They write it directly to the CEC. So I think I need to be very clear on that.
Maybe for your information, because I know we've interacted with almost all these witnesses, and for your information, the same document that you are saying it was circulating in the social media was owned by the chairman of that committee, that they did request when they were doing now the budget on how to distribute this money. The same document was forwarded by your officers to the committee for their use. And that's the reason you got actually the check. I know it has not been deposited, but the committee has information that there is a check, I think number 200 or 199, that was written. There is a copy of, there is a check. It's only that after these things went round, after this thing went through the social media is when you didn't deposit the same check. But the same checks are there. And what informed the 1.8 million is the records that came from your from the hospital, from your staff to the committee. And the same committee owned the same document. The county secretary who was here, who was the chair for that disbursement of that money, owned the document and say, in fact, this is a true copy. This is what we had. This is what we used. That was just for your information.
Okay. Thank you, through the chair. Please, chair, I'm asking for your protection so that I can get time to. Yes. Yes. So as I said earlier, I do not know anything about the committee and the document. I do not know anything. The issue of claiming a waiver, reimbursement from any waiver or any money, is actually raised by the medical superintendent to the CEC, and actually the CEC will mark to me if need be, or they can request for funds from another entity. So for me, I want to explain what I found out after inquiring about the document. And It is very simple. We have a hospital accountant who actually owned the document. And if you look at it very carefully, this document is not addressed to anybody. It's just a document. Or there is nobody, the accountant was not writing to anybody. I think you agree. It is not a memo. It's just a document signed by the accountant. Now, on further inquiry from the medical superintendent, he was asked to prepare a claim for reimbursement for emergency, the amount that was used for rendering emergency care, which was the 1.8 million. And you agree with me if there is an accountant here. If right now you only know the figures, and then you are taken to a hospital, you know, it will take time for you to understand the billing system of the hospital. And that is something which I really, it is not easy for an accountant from school placed in the hospital to understand how billing of the hospital system is done. That's the explanation I was given. I'm only reporting what I was given. It is not coming from me. So the medical superintendent actually gave me a document. He gave me a document of the 1.8 million, which has been broken down to the actual non-farms that were used. And I would also like to table another document, the same document you are talking about now, which I think the accountant, in his own, that's what I'm reporting, I'm not saying it is from me. What I was told is that in his remote way of thinking, because they did the value of all the non-farms plus the implants that were required was 1.8 million. In his remote thinking, he just allocated the amount randomly to the patients. That's the explanation. Let me finish, Chair. I am asking for your protection. He just distributed the amount, and that's why if you see a patient with 2,000 bill, yes, he's actually the leading, almost 168,000. Because he was looking at the cost of the non-farms, and he allocated very fast and took it to the medical superintendent. And now the medical superintendent being the AIE holder, actually, and I want to table this document. This is the same document, and the medical superintendent has written to the accountant and tell them, kindly separate the actual bills with the consumables and implants. I can table it. That's from the medical superintendent. Now the medical superintendent was brought for another document signed by David Sang, the same accountant, whereby he has removed the names of the patients, and now he has only given the quantities of the non-farms that were used, amounting to the same amount. So we have another document with non-farms, listed non-farms, with the amounts and submitted to the medical superintendent. From there, I don't know what happened. Because I only saw the original document in the social media. And I want to quote the CC Finance. I was watching him when he was here. He actually said the reason why, part of the reason why we have not paid health. And I want to assure this committee that none of the hospitals has received even a cent so far. No hospital has received even a cent.
Chairman, I think CEO should not try to, this like co-joint twin CEO. You can never run away from this. You are the chief officer of a department of health. All those accountants basically are under you because you are the lead accountant under Department of Health. You cannot tell us that you just here. You are the chief officer. You should interrogate issues that has been submitted to you either by the accountant or even the medical superintendent. You are not saying that the hospitals has never received money, but here we have the checks, and these are the authentic checks.
I request that Honorable Chair Bet, you read to us the content of the check.
Yes, the checks are here, so you, by telling the members of the public and by extension this committee that you have not received any money, while here the committee has the checks. In fact, these checks, Bwana CEO, was written on the 27th day of July, 2023. Today, Bwana CEO, I think we are on 7th August. The manager Equity Bank, 1,534,190. That was one of the checks. The second checks, and these are the originals. We will never affect. The amount is, the first one is 1,534,190. The second amount is to the manager Equity Bank, 1,880,336 shillings. So these are the original checks. Kericho Referral Hospital. So by telling us that even the hospitals have not received the checks, is that because of the whistleblowers, and the list of 1.8. I mean, if you go through that list, Daktari, as a chief officer, all these funds, you are the chief accountant of that department. You should know every coin that has been spent and every document that is being produced by your accountants. No, accountants are people under you, in essence. So you cannot try, Bwana CEO, just give us the real thing, because you cannot try to run away from this, that, I'm not part of this. This is where the junk of the money went, And of course, as a chief officer of a department, you should ask.
Yes. Chair, I think you as the chief officer, there is something in management called when you are given a chance to head somewhere or heading people, especially a very serious institution like the hospital, where every detail is very important, even with the patients. Attention to details. You see, a small detail is very important. You cannot oversee a very minor thing, even if it is hidden between the lines. As a doctor, as a medical officer, you should be able to identify even a very single or a flag, something that can give you a flag, red flag. Now, there is a document. I want to take you to this document. You have a document that originated from your department. Can you open this document that you submitted on 3rd August? This one. Kindly go through to the second page. Yes, the second page, where there is a breakdown. This breakdown. Now, in the breakdown, because you understand the document yourself very well, there is this document that breaks down the cost of medicine for every patient. This one. Ruta. In this document, I want you to tell us ref. What does it mean for ref? There is a number 529,787. What is it, the ref? The ref.
Sorry, through the chair, I have not gotten exact document.
Let me ask the Sergeant at Arms to bring it to you. Yeah. Okay. This one. This one. Show him what does it mean here. Wave. Yes. There's a place, the ref. I would like to understand. There is ref 532,327. What is it? Is it the patient reference number? Is it, what is it?
Sorry, I'm not finding that document.
Okay. Yeah. Let Chair Budget bring to you this one. Yes.
But through the chair, as he's sorting, I can respond to Honorable Esron. Okay. Is that up?
That number, the ref, what is it?
Oh, ref, yeah.
Yes, ref.
Oh, this is just a computer number, billing number.
What's the patient number?
Huh?
The patient number. when you key in the patient into your system, do you have a specific number that identifies the patient?
Yes, in the system.
Which is it there?
Yes, it is there. This is generated directly from the system.
Now, can you read for us the patient numbers? Apo, moja. Yes.
Now, patient number, where is it? Because you know the computer only recognizes this the computer number.
Now,
yeah,
maybe
which is unique to it.
for us
Yeah.
to understand very well. Because we want to trace the patients and the billing using the computer. Here, the patient number is 68002, 67997, 67983. These are the patient number. Kindly give us a statement that will capture the patient numbers versus what you have brought us here, so that we can be able to collaborate all the expenses, including the syringe and even the tablets that were given.
Actually, the rev, sorry, through the chair, the rev is actually the person who is doing the billing. Everybody is allocated a number. If you look at it, it is in tandem with the name. One person is using one reference number so that we can be able to identify you in the system, because you enter the system using a password. Honorable Chair, please give me protection.
30 seconds. Maybe you didn't understand what Mheshimiwa Finzen was saying. Just in that document that you have, just go directly to where the name is on top. There is a patient number there, which is
185,
185,
889.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you can compare with this document that was sent by also David Sang, the patient number here is different from that one. And in fact, this is the document that you brought to this assembly last week. You'll see, for example, that Chepkoech somebody, Margaret Chep, for example, Margaret Chepkrit to it 185 888. At least this one tallies, but that one for the 12 patients that were released, they are different.
These are outpatient, number.
Patient numbers.
Outpatient and inpatient are different. So this one, the one with 96 on the bottom, is actually outpatient numbers, which is different in the system, inpatient and outpatient.
But
All
the records
inpatient
of-
numbers.
The records of med is different.
Huh?
That one which that has references and the medications that was done. is
You know,
different.
sometimes a patient can enroll in inpatient, then they are given treatment in casualty. The moment they are admitted, they are given another number for inpatient. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a patient may have two numbers at the same time.
Yes. If you are treated in inpatient, you are given an inpatient number. If you are treated in outpatient, you are given. So if you are treated in outpatient and then later on you are admitted, you will have two numbers from the system. Yeah. Honorable Chair, let me respond to Honorable Ostrom. Sorry. Kericho.
Daktari.
Sorry. Now,
Daktari, as you proceed, I wish that you clear all the questions from your side, because I'm seeing it is 10:53. Thank you so much. We will give you a chance to highlight. Let's give him a time to respond to everything that he has, so that we move to a new dispensation of the question answer system. Daktari, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I want to clarify.
Wish that we give Daktari. He still has questions on his desk.
There is this patient, Kitata. You also are aware, Chairman, that it has not been responded. The variation of 68,000 and 172. What are the documents? What is making these documents vary? It was an initial question, CEO. And that one can be it can be a problem which is in our hearts now. Why we have on third 68,000 as appeal, and on 17 we have 172. I have never gotten a satisfactory answer pertaining the variation. Yeah.
Thank you, through the chair. I think I was actually almost reaching there, then I was cut short. Now, I was explaining about an accountant who is not familiar with the system, and I have explained how this was rectified through the intervention of the medical superintendent. Now, when all documents were submitted, and I want to exonerate myself the fact that I'm not, as a chief officer, health is a very large department. I cannot be monitoring revenue in every hospital. Like now, I actually called the statements from those facilities, and I can assure you there is not even a cent that has been paid to those hospitals. I don't know about those checks. I don't know who raised them, what they are doing, how they were raised. I do not know. I want to distance myself from the checks. But I want to assure you, as the accounting officer, who is the supervisor of the hospitals, no hospital has received any check to date. Now, as a chief officer, I cannot control accounts. All these hospitals have different accounts. But I only get the report at the end of the month from the medical superintendent, being the supervisor. And I believe you passed the act last year to that effect to empower the hospitals to operate like autonomous entities. And the medical superintendent is the AIE holder. I'm not the AIE holder of the hospitals. The medical superintendent is the AIE holder. And they only give me reports at the end of the month on how transpired in every facility. And that's why when I report and say it, when I look at it in the social media, then I inquired from the facility. And what the report I was giving is what I had. And in government, for you to own a document, it's true signature. I don't think there is any of my signature in those documents. If anybody has seen it, you can show me. The way to show that you are aware is through appending your signature. Is there a signature? None of those. I inquired after I saw it in the social media. When I inquired, and that is the report I was giving you from the medical superintendent. And I want to go back to the law that I quoted on Public Service Ethics Act 2015 on accountability. Every officer, I don't remember the exact words, but every officer must account all his administrative deeds. What I mean is this: if a maid soup does something and signs a document, they must be held accountable. And that's why the report I'm giving is just an aftermath. And I'm just giving a report of what I found out being the supervisor of the hospital.
Chairman, Daktari, kindly, if it is possible, just answer questions pertaining this matter that we have here. We have understood that you have a problem in your department. Everyone can write letters anytime, that they wish. And in all these documents that we have, we don't have your signature. We agreed like that. But kindly, as head of the department, we know that we have the CC, and we have the CEO, and we have the medical superintendent. Kindly answer questions pertaining your level of the CEO. One, you have confirmed to this committee that you have a very incompetent accountant who cannot understand the operation of the hospital. That is what you meant when you say, when you transfer an accountant to a department, sometimes he might not be able to understand the medical terms. We have no problem with that. But kindly, Doctor, answer question according to the issues that you know pertaining this matter.
Additionally, Chair, we also need you to go step by step. You see, you don't move to the other side, move to another side. Kindly stick to the questions asked so that we can move on. Because you have so many questions asked by members, and we need you to answer. So stick to this fundraiser kitty, and also the pertaining Londiani victim and what was handled in Kericho Referral Hospitals, and the same case to Londiani. Please, kindly.
And that connection
Thank you,
also.
through the chair.
And if it is possible, kindly, if you want us to give you fresh question, it is our time also to give you. But try as much as possible that you are not aware of the checks. That is a done deal. We know whoever that will be asking that question. You don't know the bills of 2.2 million at 7,000. You know of 1.8. See, even umesema daktari, you owning this document of 1.8 million. You owning that the bill, the emergency bill is 1.8 million. So hiyo tumemaliza. Another question umeulizwa, kuna mgonjwa baada huko kwa hospitali, na kwa hiyo fundraising kuna mtu kuna pesa ililetwa for survivors and those who wenye tuliwapoteza. We are still having a staff mwenye anatembea na pesa ya mgonjwa mwenye ako kwa hospitali. Si ampe hiyo pesa yaendelee kununua dawa. But you don't know about the fundraising. We know where to direct that question. So kindly, daktari, if it is possible, so that we will not take a lot of time, answer questions direct. The way Honorable Ngetich has just put a question to you. Why a lot of these different figures is coming, like from 167,000, from 68,000 to 170. Where is this 110,000 coming from? Period.
Information Chair, regarding the same, so that we move it in a very clear direction. You see, you have said in a lot of words, I've heard you saying you don't know, you don't know. Kindly tell us what you know and actually give us the right position from your hospital point of view as a manager in the hospital or as a personnel in the hospital. Even if you don't know, up to now, you know something. You have some information in your desk. You have some reports in your desk. Give us the truth and something that will shed light for us to make a decision. Because you see, what you are following here is not a very it's a very serious issue, and take it very seriously again. Again, you see, we are also making comparison. We are comparing what is happening here, what happened in other places, including, for your information, we also went to Nakuru, which is a provincial hospital, and we are trying to compare the activities that happened. 12 patients went there, 12 came this other direction. And for your information, because you are one, even if you are not responsible, you understand what is happening and you know what happened. So far, to me, I have big questions that have to be answered. Oh, in all this issue, including the donations from KEMSA, everything, Kericho County have spent close to 5 million in this emergency. Thank you. Kindly go through the questions.
Daktari, we want to give you a chance to respond, so that, and I want to urge the honorable members that we give Daktari time to respond. Kindly, let's not ask new questions. Kindly respond to the end, so that once you are done, you'll tell us, I'm done. Thank you so much, and proceed.
Thank you very much. I think I was actually almost, I was only giving a background that an accountant is under guidance of the medical superintendent. When they do a funny report, the medical superintendent will rectify. And that's exactly what was done. I've tabled a report of medical superintendent instructing the accountant how to do the report. And the accountant did another report, which I also have, which is a good one, because now he was able to separate. You know, how I was explained to is that in his remote thinking, because he's an accountant, he only knows the figures. What he only did was to get the 1.8 million, and the items, let's say class was 168,000. He allocates to one patient. Let's say something else is costing 50,000. He allocates to another patient. That's what that's actually the first report. That's why he gave out another report later, and the bills are very low. That was the actual one that was accrued by the system. But initially, he was told to prepare whatever was used, a report on what was used. He decided to pick all the patients and allocate the commodities regardless of the bills. And the medical superintendent said, no, this is not how you do it. Just give me the report of the non-farms that were used, plus the implant. And he gave out. So how the first one, which was work in progress, the report for the first one, landed in the other side, which I have actually distanced myself, is now, I'm not in a position to answer because I was not the one who was sitting in the other side. I was not the one who was receiving the report in the other side. I think that would be the best person. And I think if you can quote the CC Finance, you actually indicated to this house that the reason we have not paid health was because of a report that was not good. But we actually had another report which was good, which had been sorted by the medical superintendent. I want to say something about Nakuru, Honorable Vincent. It is impossible to correlate the number of patients to the amount of the bill. You cannot correlate. You can have one patient accruing 2 million, and you can have 20 patients accruing 100,000. It all depends on the treatment that has been given to the patient. Number two, it is impossible to compare Kericho Referral Hospital and Nakuru Referral Hospital. Kericho Referral Hospital is level 4. Nakuru Referral Hospital is level 5. All of you are aware that the Senate has been allocated money to support level 5 hospitals. It is supported by national government. For us, we don't get any support from anywhere. Whatever we used to run the hospital are those bills, the little we get from the bills. And as a way of supporting the hospital from my office, and we used to do it even when I was the medical superintendent, we used to request, any waiver we do, we request the CEC to reimburse in form of commodities. And I have indicated to this house that I actually did it in June this year. I reimbursed Kapkatet and Kericho Referral Hospital. That is why, from this report, that what was requested, it doesn't include the bills, the 282. That one will do it through the normal process. But the emergency kitty will never be paid by anybody. And that is why Honorable CEC, in her own wisdom, actually decided, because we are in July, the system is closed, we cannot do it in the department. But Honorable CEC, in her own wisdom, wrote a letter to the CC Finance asking for reimbursement of emergency kitty, both for Londiani and Kericho. I'm sure some of you have seen that letter.
So,
on behalf of the department, sorry.
Dr.
Yes.
You are confirming to us that in June this year, you did a reimbursement through an emergency kitty.
No, sorry. Through the chair, that is not what I have said. Reimbursement is usually done. You know, remember the facilities are running on their own budgets. But at the department level, remember there is budget for level 2 and 3. Didn't you? Now, the one you usually appropriated the assembly, level 2. So usually around 30% of the drugs we procure at the department level are usually put as a buffer stock in the county store. So we usually use that kitty, that buffer, to reimburse the facilities. Like we gave Referral Hospital some drugs, we gave Kapkatet, Nomosela, and IV fluids, equivalent to the waivers they have done. And that's why these other waivers, the one we have 282, nobody has asked for, because we'll do through the normal. After some time, when these are like 4 million, we reimburse the facility, drugs what? 4 million from the department. So that we ensure that the facilities are sustained, they run sustainable services. Otherwise, if it is not reimbursed, both emergency and the normal waivers we do, facilities will collapse. It's only a matter of time. And for this particular one, the medical superintendent from Londiani and Kericho raised an alarm and said, look here, we used a lot of money to manage emergency care for the patients, and please reimburse us. And they wrote to the CEC. The CEC could not have written to me because right now we don't have a budget. So the CEC took it upon ourselves to write to CEC Finance. And I think that letter is there. From there, I don't know what happened on the other side, but I have explained the process. And it is a normal process. It's not the first time. We have been seeking reimbursement of waivers, both at the department level and also from finance.
From that point, Dr. you have been seeking reimbursement of waivers. How do they normally do it? From the emergency kitty or from which kitty?
That one I cannot comment through the chair because it is the prerogative of finance to decide where they reimburse from. That is beyond the health department.
So for
once you write a letter to CC Finance, they will decide where to remove the money. Whether it's from emergency kit, whether it's from any supplementary budget.
From the fundraiser?
From the fundraiser, that is not our problem. It's a problem of finance.
Thank you so much. The purpose of the fundraiser.
Your view, one chairman, I'm asking the CEO, because the CEO is a very senior person in the county government. And of course, you are also a human being. You have a heart. In your consciousness, what is your view? Was it right for these people to use the money meant for the death and the victims to pay for their medical services, while the governor was very categorical that all the bills will be waived by the county government? In your own view as an individual now, not necessarily even as a CEO of the department, did the committee did the right thing, even paying the 3.3 million for the tents?
My view, through the chair, in my view, and we have done it before, I indicated earlier that during the Fort Annan accident, we requested finance, they gave us from the emergency kitty. It's not our problem where the money is coming from. Now, for this particular one,
I think he has answered, Chair.
Yes, for this particular one,
I already have the answer. In the view of the CEO, the committee should have used the emergency fund. That is okay. I think.
Sorry, through the chair, sorry, I have not said that. sorry. I think I want to really be clear that I have said that is a prerogative of the finance. But in view of this particular incident, I think the governor has given a directive. And I believe the governor pronounced himself. And the governor pronounces himself. I have no comment.
Thank you so much, Dr. I wish you have cleared your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. CEO, I think mine is just to ask you on, will you still need the reimbursement after the pronouncement from the governor? And if in case you need, how will you go about it again? Because this is another discussion whereby as a CEO in charge of the health, there is a lot of shortage of consumable used. My question is, will you still need a reimbursement, or you are fed with what the governor pronounced during that day?
Thank you very much. I not only need reimbursement for the emergency, but even for the other waivers. And the governor was very categorical on Tuesday that the hospitals to be reimbursed their bills. I think he said that clearly. He actually pronounced it from where? Which kitty? For those who are monitoring his speech. He actually said hospitals to be reimbursed the expenses from a particular kitty, which I don't want to mention. But as of whether it was right to use the...
Chairman, it is better you mention because we are in records. So it is better you mention that it.
On Tuesday, the governor was very categorical that all the waivers, both for bodies and the patients, to be waived. No patient should pay. And I think that's what happened. But he added that hospitals should be reimbursed from, I think I had emergency kit. He said hospitals to be reimbursed from the emergency kit.
Thank you so much. For
I think
purposes
I
of,
had it.
time.
But now for the committee, through the chair, I have a pending issue that I wanted to close. For the decisions of the committee, whether it was right, it depends on the committee leadership. And I am not part of the committee, so I cannot comment.
One and final, and I want you to be a bit brief so that we close this matter. We have a lot of time.
Daktari, you have given us your view. And when I ask about the cost of, because this is a chance to ask you in front of the public about the cost of medication, which to me, I'm worried. And the reason why I was comparing to you, Kericho Referral Hospital and Nakuru, is because even during emergencies, I have removed the cost of those who perished. The cost of those who perished. Total cost was 5 million. We remain with 4.2 million, which we should share between the 19 people. So does it mean, actually, if we are really running these institutions very well and on behalf of our people, does it mean it costs 4.2 million within 5 days, even if it is under emergency, and it costs in Nakuru 366 to treat patients who have been admitted, given all those medications? Does it really, even if it's level 5, supporting us? Look at the margin of difference. It is so huge, and that's why it's raising a lot of questions to me on how, even if it is spending under emergency, actually, let's be sober enough and look at the costings. Because it doesn't correlate in any way, even across the country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Daktari, as you take up that last one, you will also give us your final comments on the same, and also we had requested also the medical notes from the last ward round that was conducted on the patient Daniel Mwangi Kitata, and the recommendations from the doctor, so that we proceed appropriately and end this session, so that we proceed with the next proceedings. Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you very much. If you look at the appeals that, as much as I stand by the earlier statement, that the number of patients, bills are not correlated with the number of patients. You can have one patient who will spend $1 million. Others with mild elements will spend less. So it is actually comparing the number of patients and the bills is actually oversimplifying a very complex affair. And I think anybody who has a medical background will agree with me. I can admit one ICU patient and they accrue bills of 2.5 million in less than 2 weeks. And I can admit 20 patients and have on medication alone and they will not even accrue 50,000. So having said that, I want you, if you look at the bills for the patients, they're actually comparable, if not on the lower side, with Nakuru. If you look at whatever we are charging is actually on the service charter. And if you look at most of our bills that went up is because of the emergency services. I'll give you why. And I wish some of you were in the site, the scene of the accident. And even when we are doing postmortems, 12 days later, in Londiani, there was a lot of activities for 12 days. And I wish you look at one postmortem being done where you have the police, the relatives, the doctors, the mortuary people, almost 15 people. Na kila mtu ameweka two pairs of gloves. And then not necessarily gloves, everything. I'm just giving an example of the gloves. And then during the day one of the incident, apart from the 77 victims, we have another almost 50 who are relatives. You remember the relatives when they come and realize they have lost their own, they faint. And we also treated them. And we are using non-farms. So leave alone the 77. The other 50 which are unaccounted for, who are caretakers of the people who are lost, who came and fainted. Others complained of headache because of stress, and they were given Benadols and everything. We treated those ones, but we don't have records of their records. But they were all treated from the emergency kitty. But if you look at the bills that accrue from the system, they are very much comparable with Nakuru. But what actually spoiled was the emergency care. Because even in emergency care, you cannot even rule out. You know, we use only 150 clubs in Nakuru. You cannot even rule out somebody can pick a club and go home. There are a lot of borders. And in an emergency situation, it is impossible to issue through the system for accountability. Everybody was just picking, some are picking and putting on their pockets, and it is difficult to control in an emergency situation. And I'm sure whoever was in the site, you could see almost 50 people clapped, and Nautan is assisting to move the patient, and all of them were using consumables. That is why the price of consumables is very high, but the drugs, which is administered by the doctors, the bill is very low, because those ones you are able to account, and it's only given out by the doctor. But the other constant farms, anybody could use it. Others were even, I cannot even rule out those who picked and went to them home.
Thank you so much.
But we just costed them and just allocated them as a group. And what the accountant was doing initially was to allocate that amount, which was wrong, and the MedSup corrected it. It's only that we didn't get a chance to give out the right document. And I think CC Finance was categorical. That had issues with the document.
Okay.
We did not get another chance to issue the other document. But I'll not say anything that happened beyond the hospital to the committee. That one I was not part of it.
So on record, initially, Dr. You told us we had 52 fatalities.
Yes.
You can confirm to this committee that we only had 52 fatalities.
I even have their names and their details plus the phone number.
Thank you so much.
And I have it here. I can table.
On our record, we had, that is on the minutes. I don't know where did the third, the one patient came from, because from the records and also from the records of payments, they paid 90,000 times 53, maybe as you end.
So I had the names of the actual names, details plus the phone numbers of the victims, and I wanted to table it here, but if in case I missed, I can provide. Oh, here it is. These are list of the deceased here.
List of the deceased.
I can table it.
52.
Plus their contact details.
Plus
I think only one. We don't have contact details for only one.
Thank you.
Yes.
So you are confirming that 52, we had 52 fatalities.
Yeah, I have tabled it. Plus their details.
Plus their details.
Yeah.
So it is 1 to 52. Okay. Thank you so much.
Plus their contacts. So
Plus
if you want to
contacts.
confirm, you can. Oh, you can call the. I've put records of the next of kin.
Thank you.
So we can confirm
from the next.
Yeah. And then my closing remarks through the chair is.
Through the chair, you confirm all the fatalities, but also the survivors, because we are getting the 24, and maybe you'll confirm also to this committee those who were transferred here to Kericho referral. How many were deceased? How many survived? Those who were transferred to Nakuru, how many survived? How many were deceased? And also, we relate the figures with the 77. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you will
for the
answer,
Nakuru,
you'll answer that one. and do the final remarks. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. For Nakuru, I can table. I have the details here. For the Kericho ones, I think you already have the list. Huh? I gave out all the list for those who are in the hospital. I also gave out those who are inpatient and outpatient. So I think you have the details. Yeah. Honorable members, I want to really thank you very much for giving me this opportunity so that we can clarify to the members of the public and the committee what actually transpired. I almost cried when I saw information that was circulating in the social media about what we have done in the health department. And I think I have come up with all the documentation from the system. And I think I have set the record straight that no figures were doctored. It was only an internal process of doing a report, which the accountant was adequately guided by the medical superintendent, and the actual report is out. I want to also tell you the challenge of the hospitals. If you are doing badly, the national government did an assessment recently on all the hospitals in the country and placed Kericho Referral Hospital as top 5. And I think it was all in the media. If we were really doing something fun, we wouldn't have been ranked as one of the top hospitals in the country. Part of the indicators to actually assess a facility is the percentage of the drugs that you stock. We may be complaining here that we don't have drugs, but let me tell you, we are trying with the mega budget that we have. The challenge with health is budget. Imagine you are charging, on average, we are charging 10% of what you could have paid in a private facility. And that is on record. And with that 10%, imagine you are able to run a facility. And that is why, in my own wisdom and the wisdom of the department and the ESS and the governor, we said, even as we look for additional budget, let us reimburse for waivers, at least for waivers, so that they can run. And that's what we have been doing. And for this particular emergency care, through the wisdom of the CEC, you actually requested for funds from another COFA. I don't know where, because it's from finance. I don't know whether it's emergency kitty. I don't know whether it's the kitty from the fundraise. I don't know. But I think that was very wise, so that we can actually cushion the hospitals from collapsing. Because the medical superintendent raised an alarm that if this money, especially Londiani, Londiani, their revenue is very small, and they've already spent 1.5 million. If you don't reimburse, you are sure you will not even get Panadol in Londiani in the next 2 months once they exhaust their stock. Imagine Londiani were pumping water throughout for 12 days because of the bodies that were in the mortuary. They used a lot of electricity. They were burning all the waste that was being used in postmortems and everything. Their incinerator has a separate meter for incinerator, which is accruing electricity. There's a separate meter for water pumped down there, which the bill was also accruing. It's 3-phase, and they were pumping water throughout. You can imagine if you don't reimburse that facility, how they will not survive in the next 2 months. They will be collapsing. And that is why I'm saying it was not wrong for the health department to ask for reimbursement. In fact, if I was in the, people say wishers or horses, beggars would ride. I wish I was in the committee, and I wish I was actually the signatory of that man. The first person, if told the payment was genuine, to be paid should have been the hospital. You can imagine, should have been the hospital. Somebody is lying in bed. Huh? And that's why I'm saying it was not wrong for us to ask for reimbursement, and we have been doing it anyway over the years. Even when I was the medical superintendent, I used to write to the CEC every now and then to ask for reimbursement, for waivers, so that the hospital does not collapse.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ari.
Thank you, Chair.
I would not wish that we continue. The more we proceed, when you mention the issue of electricity, we will open another discussion. When you continue mentioning the reimbursement, we will open another discussion. Because in the previous incidences that had happened before, there were no fundraisers that had happened. They were directly reimbursed from whichever emergency kitty that was there in. So I don't wish that we continue. We want to thank you.
Let me just,
Unless,
Chair, there's just something parting shot. Kindly pray for our healthcare workers. They did a marvelous job, and I want to take this opportunity to thank them. And I wish also, because you are the people who appropriate funds, you will appropriate funds, maybe supplementary budget, so that we even take them out to unwind. The problem we have now, because of horrific scenes of the accident, two of them are now on medication for depression-like illness. Others have taken to alcohol. And even as you do the planning of anything, remember the healthcare workers. They need counseling and psychotherapy so that they can also live good lives. Thank you.
Thank you, and your concerns have been noted. We are on record. So throughout these proceedings, my vice chair, I have not even said anything. So I wish to give her a chance to say a word as we proceed with concluding. But before then, we had Honorable, kindly introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Chair, and sorry for coming late. I'm Mheshimiwa Gabriela Chapngana, nominated MC. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Chairperson.
Thank you so much. I think it has been an intensive questioning or session. And I must thank you, Mr. Cheruiyot or Dr. Cheruiyot, for the elaborate answers you gave. You talked from informed point of view. Oh, I wish this thing, the money part was not there. In fact, I was one person who was almost losing trust on our medical facilities we have. But after explaining a lot of things, I think you've redeemed it back. I was one person who visited the site that is Londiani, and I saw what happened. And when you talk of our medical staff undergoing serious challenges now, I do also understand. That is why I kept quiet, and I also flashbacked on that particular day. They did an immense job. They really did it. And I wish these things could have not have occurred at this particular juncture, because they did something that was excellent. So you've given an elaborate report, so we'll sit and then we analyze. So thank you, and thank you, team.
So, on behalf of this committee, we wish to thank you for finding time to be with us and cooperating appropriately in giving us your version of submission that is going to guide this committee in making elaborate deliberations and later a report. So we want to thank you. We also thank the healthcare team for the good work they did and their continued support to our patients. So on our own behalf, we say thank you and God bless you. In case we would require some more information, Dr. we will still reach out to your office for the same. So thank you so much, and God bless you as we proceed. Okay.
So for his personal consumption, maybe this for your consumption, Dr. I not even require the answer. But it is good that we received medical tracks from KEMSA worth 1.8 million. Number two, the generated bill for Londiani Hospital is around 1.5 million. And in this 1.5 million, the breakdown, we saw the power, only power, clocking to around 400,000 plus in a day or so. Number two, the county referral hospital gave a total bill of 2,037,000. And in Nakuru, where we took 12 patients, that is 9 patients to PG Hospital and 3 to Molo Sub-County Hospital to make a total of 12. And have in mind, we had 24 survivors as per the reports. So to mean, those who got medication from our end or from our hospitals are around 12, some more treated and discharged. And those who got medication from Nakuru County hospitals are 12, though one died. The total bill that came from Nakuru PG Hospital, together with Molo, is 366,820. So I just wanted for information of all of us that KEMSA gave us tracks worth 1.8. We got a bill from Londiani Hospital, 1.5. We got a bill from County Referral Hospital worth 2,037,000. Yet Nakuru, despite all those challenges and treatments, they gave us a bill, or they waived a bill of a total of 366,820. You are applying for reimbursement from, you say you didn't want to know where the money will come from. But Nakuru just waived and kept silent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Please.
We don't
have a
wish,
minute.
We don't wish that you live here with
because it's so panning, what I'm hearing from yeah. I think we need to separate the one for emergency care and the bill. Our bill is 282,000. The one for emergency care was used to treat both patients for Nakuru and Kericho. Everybody who passed through is the total amount that was used to provide emergency care before they were referred. So I have separated the bills. You know, if them they were doing definitive care, they didn't do emergency treatment. So I separated the bills from the one for emergency care. And even those who went to Nakuru received emergency care before they left. So I think it needs to be clear that our bill is not just the bill for the patient, but it includes the...
Can we then say they received the first aid?
Yeah, emergency care is the right
term.
term.
You say emergency care, they just receive first aid, no drugs, wakafungiwa na wakapelekwa Nakuru.
Including drugs.
That is the report on the other end.
Yeah. And then number two, Nakuru were also wishing. In fact, we have information that they were saying, if there is anything for reimbursement, please remember us. So it is not true that they kept silent.
No.
Every facility in Kenya will wish they are reimbursed for waivers.
It is us that we went there. I was among the lead team that went there. And maybe for your information, another additional information, because we had to reply. We were welcomed so much in Nakuru, taken to a boardroom. The medical superintendent, together with all other accountants and everybody, came to the boardroom. They gave us information there. While in our hospitals, we came there, people were running away from us, yet we are members of this county. We went to Londiani, the same. Calls were made to hospital, and we know, but we will not charge you because we don't know you didn't call. But somebody who called will appear before us in some few minutes.
Thank you so much, our majority leader. Thank you so much, Daktari. We have had wonderful deliberations and discussion. So I wish that we appreciate every other step that you have made. So I wish to urge our Sergeant at Arms to usher Daktari out through the other door. Yeah. Thank you so much. I wish Asante. Twende tu